So let me take y'all back to another time when it's winter and it's dull outside and cold and dreary. And you sit around as a gardener and you start dreaming of what your upcoming spring garden is going to look like. And I just want to help y'all walk through my annuals for 2025 and how I came about choosing and why I place things where. So hopefully you'll enjoy this video and come along as we talk through different types of annuals and how and why you choose those annuals. So I'm going to start out here because I always begin with a color palette, and at least I did this year because I really wanted to create cohesion within my garden. And so I used the annuals to kind of create the same colors throughout in order for when your eye goes across the garden, you can see the continuity there. And I begin with the hanging baskets. And so I chose for these hanging baskets 4 plants. My color palette for this year is purple, yellow, and white. And so in little bits of fuchsia or a violet, depending on how you describe that color. And so I have here on the outside Supertunia Mini Vista Indigo is that full dark purple. In the middle there I've got Saffron Finch Supertunia, and you can kind of see it peeking through. It's going to take a little bit, but I know it's going to hold its own. Is Diamond Frost Euphorbia is going to fill in really nicely there. And then along on this side we've got Superbina Sparkling Amethyst. And then I just of course repeated that same thing on the other side. And I have a video out on Instagram where I'm planting up these hanging baskets if you want to see that. But I do have 2 of the Saffron Finch. I put one in the front and what is considered the back because it's just a normal Supertunia. It's not a Vista, and I thought it would give it a little bit more oomph. And of course with the yellow will pop more as well. The next thing I wanted to do was take some of those same plants, either the exact plant or the colors, and create borders. So you can see here that I created a border using the Supertunia Saffron Finch. And I did that so that as you back away, you can really tell from a far distance that color is going to pop. And here I was creating this border with the Augusta Lavender Heliotrope. So what I wanted to do here was take the colors. This came from the colors from the Superbina Sparkling Amethyst, and I wanted to try some new things. So here I'm trying this heliotrope. I never tried it. I picked it out because it is said to be really heat and humidity tolerant. And I find that as much as I love the Supertunias, they really struggle once the heat and humidity set in come July. And so I wanted to try something new and see if maybe this could be my new favorite. And my last kind of border, other than another little area I'm going to show y'all, is this Superbina Cobalt, and it's supposed to mirror the color that is found in the Supertunia Mini Vista Indigo, and of course it's also the same plant as the Superbina Sparkling Amethyst. So I just kind of have it filling in holes, so it's another use that you have for your annuals. And of course create consistent color. So as y'all have seen, I have a lot of perennials and evergreens in my garden, and I thought that buying perennials was really the smart choice. As a new gardener, I thought, oh, well, they're, about the same price, and then they're going to come back year after year, whereas the annuals, of course, will only last the season. But as I learned from a fellow gardener, one of the main purposes of annuals is color. And what happens with my perennials, and though they give a great show, it only usually lasts for a couple of weeks at a time, and then there's a lull in between. And so during that lull, the garden can look like there's nothing really going on in the prime growing season. And what the annuals do is they fill that void, and they create constant color from the beginning of spring all the way through. The taller bush in the back is Osmanthus. It's also known as tea olive or sweet olive, depending on which area you live in. And in between those, I have Atlas rose for improving winters. And so what I did here is I did a repeating pattern of Supertunia Mini Vista white and Superbina cobalt. Again, repeating what's throughout the other parts of the yard, using the hanging basket for the color palette and plant type. And so I chose this color palette because, as you can see from here, the purple, white, and the peach look really pretty together. So as I mentioned earlier, I really love the Supertunia, and that is really what I have leaned heavily on, and I wanted to try some new things this year. And so along with the heliotrope, one of the things that I tried to do this year was plant my own annuals from seed. And so this is Gomphrena. It is the Audrey mix from Johnny Seeds, and it's mixtures of whites and purples. And I did a little drift of them. The other thing I tried growing from seed this year is this Indian Summer Rebecca. And this is a really warm yellow that I've kind of stayed clear of because, well, I usually choose a cooler palette. But I decided to try, again, go outside of my comfort zone and try something new. This is, they're gonna send up, like, I think it says 4-inch diameter blooms. And I have the Indian Summer Rebecca's kind of sprinkled in groups of 3 throughout the garden. And they're next to a Black-Eyed Susan vine. Now, Black-Eyed Susan is the common name for Rebecca. And this is a vine. I did purchase this. And I gotten this obelisk for a gift for my birthday from my husband. And I wasn't really sure what I wanted to plant on it. And so that's another use of your annuals. If you're not sure what you want in a particular place and you don't want it to stay empty, you can always plant an annual and see, you know, how it will look. Do you like the color? Do you like the form there? Do I need the height here? I thought I did, because everything around it's pretty low. And then on the back of the Black-Eyed Susan vine, I planted, this is a vining sweet potato vine that's in this dark purple. I can't think of the name of it, but I'll put it on the screen. And what I decided to do was put it on the back half of this obelisk in order to kind of give a background to the green. There's a lot of green, and I didn't have the sedum here whenever I made this decision. But the sedum is perennial, and of course the sweet potato vine is only annual. But I'm excited to see how they grow in together and if it gives the background and contrast that I'm hoping that it'll give. And then right here beside it is just a pot. This is one Supertunia Vista Jazzberry. Just one is in that pot. And I am pretty familiar with this plant. I have grown it multiple years, and I'm going to show it to y'all up at the knee wall. And it kind of brings the color, and of course it matches this bee balm that's right beside it. And it matches that and brings the color from the knee wall out here as well. Again, trying to create continuity. And as I said earlier, this is Supertunia Vista Jazzberry. It can grow 3 feet wide, and I really only planted it this year in this space because this is probably its last year that I'm going to be able to put it in here. I was waiting for my shrubs to grow in. This is Kaleidoscopobilia and Pancake Arborvitae here in the middle. And this is probably the last year the annuals will be able to fill in these holes because the shrubs are getting so large that I don't need anything 3 feet wide to fill in the spot because I don't really have 3 feet. So I'll probably have to do some extra pruning this year to keep this Supertunia off of my shrubs, because of course they're staying here and I don't want them to be affected in any way. But I just love the color contrast of the yellow of the abelia and that really bright fuchsia pink of the jazzberry. And then this container is just the example of impatience. So this is the container that I planted up in probably mid-March. It had given us a little hint of that it may not get cold again, and I ran out to the big box store and picked up some annuals to put into a container because I just really was yearning to see some color in my order for my annuals. I order my annuals because, like I've told y'all before, I can't find proven winners as easily with a great selection and definitely with quantity that I would need to plant out the whole beds, all the beds the way that I want them to. So I order them, but they usually don't get here until usually the second week of April. And so I just wanted something to kind of fill the gap for the month. And as y'all have seen, I'll link this video up above, but the lemon coral sedum's kind of taken over. I put 2 in this container and I guess I only needed 1. And so I need to do a little grooming on this container, but that's what this is about. And then it ended up kind of being a happy surprise. And my happy surprise was that I didn't ever have anything really determined for these urns. I wanted to get Mona lavender or plectranthus was what I have planted the past multiple years in these urns, and I couldn't find it this year. So I was glad that I had the plants from that container that I did back in March to give me the idea of what to put in these urns just a few weeks ago. So I used the same purple angelonia and I thought that it mimicked that Supertunia Vista Indigo. I repeated the Diamond Frost Euphorbia, and then I added this as Kufia, and I don't know the name of it. Another of my new experiments of plants is going to be these Surefire White Begonias from Proven Winners. This area is really tough. As you can see, I'm fixing to go past it. It's in shade on one side of it, and a lot of us have garden beds that look this way. And as you can see, it's getting sunnier and sunnier, and now it's in full sun over here. So I was going to try these because I've heard that they are really great for sun or shade, and you're kind of limited in flowering things that are great for sun or shade. So I'm going to try these Surefire White Begonias, and I hope that they will look really great by the end of the year. Again, check back with me. All right, and my last new annual that I tried was the Suncredible Sunflower. And as you can see, there's a lot of dark leaf foliage plants around these. And I thought that the really broad green leaves and the bright cheery yellow would really add just a great pop. And that's what I'm always trying to do, is just add some interest and something that makes people smile. And this is actually in my front yard, which I don't really do a lot of extra planting in. So I'm excited to see again. I'm hoping there will be great cut flowers as well. I've heard they're good if you cut them, that they will rebloom readily. So I'm hoping to have some extra cut flowers for the house as well. Speaking of cut flowers, this is my cut flower garden. I did my first cut flower garden last year in which I used floret zinnias, and they did okay. They created a small little patch out of, I think was on like my 3rd try of seeding them before they germinated well. And they lasted throughout the end of the summer, and I enjoyed that. So I thought I would try it again. This time I have seeds from Johnny Seeds. In the back is Shimmer Celosia, and then on the left I have the Queenie Lime with Blush zinnia, and on the right is their new Ballerina zinnia. Now as you can see, they're starting to put on some buds. And then in the front here where all the flags are at, I have direct seeded there because I had tried to do another run with the cell packs, And for some reason, you can see a couple here or there. Those are from the cell packs, but the majority of them didn't germinate. And so then here in the front is some leftover Profusion double white zinnia that I planted one in the green stalk, and these were the extra out of a 4 cell pack that I picked up. I've already been cutting on these, so they don't look as great as they could, but they are flowering quite a bit. So I thought I would share. Zinnias and celosia. Why there's not any on the stems, as I've made an arrangement, or a couple by now. I hope you enjoyed this video. You may notice that there's some difference between the plants when you're looking at them. This video was supposed to have gone out at the end of May. So I re-recorded the video showing you more of what the plants look like today, and just inserted it in with what I had previously recorded. So hopefully y'all understand that, and y'all will appreciate getting to see the transition and how quickly plants change when you are taking care of them, giving them regular water and fertilizer. They really can change by leaps and bounds in a short period of time. And just know it's not too late to put some annual color in your landscape. If you're in the South, look out for varieties that love the heat and humidity, like sunflower rudbeckia or heliotrope. And if you've already put in your annual color, I'd love to see it. Drop it in the comments section. Let us see your different annual combos and colors. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see updates on what these plants will be looking like into the future this summer. Hope y'all have a great day.